Peace, what's good? How y'all doing? This is ZaZa Ali. Today is Wednesday, November 13th, 2019. I pray that this message reaches you all in the best of health, spirit, and mind. This is going to be a quick video to kind of review the things that I said on YouTube Live yesterday. Some of y'all was clowning me because of my the speed of my computer and the buffering. I figured out what I did wrong. You can't like just hop on YouTube anymore and just go live. You have to set up the streaming, and then you have to give it time for the streaming to be in cohesion with YouTube. So I just got online and just started going at it. So I figured it out. But anyway, I wanted to, for one, practice my 10-minute time frame that I'm working on. And so I'm redoing yesterday, today, but also just to put this video up on YouTube and Instagram for those of you guys who weren't able to get clarity of what I was talking about yesterday. The video yesterday was called Stop Being a Slave to Time. I'm going to reiterate that point, but this video is going to be titled The Law of Compensation, just so that I have a different title and so that I can stress the points that I stressed yesterday. Real quick, I still have a few spots left for the group coaching session on Saturday. Change Your Mind from Lack to Abundance. It's going to be a 1 hour and 15-minute presentation by me, and then it'll be a 45-minute live Q&A where I will address you guys' questions directly and things that you're struggling with, that you're trying to get through or elevate to the next level of your consciousness. It's also attached to a 30-day program that you will do on your own outside of our group coaching session. The first week is fear, magnetism, and emotion. The second week is forgive yourself. What is your master teacher? The third week is prosperity consciousness. And then the fourth week is write, recite, and invite. And each week you'll get a focus guide for that week. You'll also get worksheets and a specific catered morning and evening meditation focused around the topic of that particular week. So we still have a few spots left. If you want to get access, click the link below and sign up. And you'll get the first week's exercise immediately via email. And I will see you Saturday. All right, so the law of compensation. This is from the Kybalion. If you saw the video yesterday, some of what I'm going to say is going to be redundant, but also is going to be a little bit different too. So just bear with me. So in the Kybalion, it talks about the pendulum swinging based on where you are in your life, that there's always a counterbalance, which is what compensation is referring to. And it talks about the man who enjoys keenly is subject to keen suffering, while he who feels but little pain is capable of feeling but little joy. This is talking about the balance of humanity and the four variances of who we are, the fullness of who we are: mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical beings. And this is what I talk to my clients about. Sometimes you can be in a good rhythm mentally or financially, but still be struggling spiritually and emotionally, or sometimes you can be in an emotionally great place, but still struggling financially, trying to figure it out. So the law of compensation, rhythm compensation, is talking about there will be ebbs and flows in life where you're doing great in one part of your life and where you're struggling in another part. The goal and the trick is to learn how to lean into whatever the difficulty is and have a gratitude and appreciation for whatever it is that you are trying to work through during that period. Because if, on the outside looking in, it seems like it's saying, well, basically, I'm going to struggle no matter what. Or basically, I'm always going to be dealing with some sort of adversity or some type of pain or some type of trauma. And I wouldn't even go that far because, trauma and struggling and stressing, and those are, far ends of the pendulum, so to speak. There's a lot of variances that come in between that. Little things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis that don't have to be as severe as, getting fired from your job or getting raped. That's a very extreme circumstance, but it still applies to this. Or having a mother who neglects you or having an abusive father. Those are extremes. There are a lot of variances, little intricate things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis that we have to learn how to work through in order to strike this counterbalance. So when it talks about the millionaire who is inclined towards feasting, this person who has all this money and all this access but can't really enjoy the taste of the food as a poor man would, and then the poor man being able to love and appreciate all of the variant flavors and savoring the food and having a different level of appreciation because he is poor, because he is coming from a perspective of lack when it comes to finances, right? There is a very deep, powerful lesson in that. And it's something that I've been thinking about as I've been doing some writing and, doing an analysis of my own life for this past year. And again, I want to reiterate from what I said yesterday. This is the time of the year when a lot of people go into depression, when a lot of people get real stressed out because of the holidays coming upon us. A new year is coming. You may be looking back and analyzing where you've been for this past year, counting your losses, counting your mistakes. Make sure you count your wins. Make sure you count how far you've grown in this amount of time. Make sure you give yourself credit for being in the mindset that you're in. And don't just, the litmus test is not only money, and the litmus test is not only, the physical, tangible things in our lives. I've said this to you guys before. The 98% of our reality is the unseen. Only 2% of our reality is the physical realm. So, as the Kabbalion says, as above, so below. So if we are making the correlation as human beings to the correlation as the universe, that means that only 2% of who we really are is our physical reality, and 98% of who we are represents that emotional, spiritual, and mental self, the part of yourself that is unseen. So monitor how you're thinking about time. Monitor, if you're 45 and thinking about going to school, but you're worried about going back because you wasted so much time, or, whatever. If you are in your 50s or 60s and you are thinking about buying a house, but you think it might be too late because of whatever. Monitor that thinking process. The question is not how old are you in the physical realm when it comes to this conversation we're talking about. The question is, how old is your soul? You are an infinite being. You have always been here and you will always be here by way of consciousness. There is a much deeper, more profound, powerful element to who we are as spiritual beings. We hear a lot of people say now, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. What does that mean? It means that there is a deeper, more powerful, more intricate, more in-depth aspect of you as a soul, your inner being, and as a spiritual being, which is where your actual power rests at. So this is why in the program that we're going to do on Saturday, and even in the Science of Self workbook, I'm emphasizing that internal consciousness that is connected to all of your ancestors, all of the people in your family that have transitioned, all of the great kings and queens that we study and we, reference when it comes to history, all of these great historical contexts, as well as what's to come in the future. We are connected to all of that. That's why I love this book so much, because it proves it in a spiritual science way, which is my lane. So just be cognizant that the balance and flow, and as I've said before, the scale has to always balance itself out. No matter how far you are away from your center, if you swung to the left and you lost your job, or you lost all your money, or you lost your family, you're getting a divorce, or you went through a painful breakup, or you got a child that has a sickness, or you're dealing with some sort of physical ailment, once you understand that internal power and that you are more than just a physical human being, that you are a soul that is connected to the mind that created everything, then you can start to get that pendulum to swing back to the other end. And the rhythm of compensation says that it has to swing back to either the equal side or or the equal or higher side of the pendulum. So if you suffer greatly, that means you can experience great pleasure or great happiness or abundance of joy. If you have been sick for a long time, once you start to tap into that internal power, you can realize an abundance of health and well-being. If you've been struggling emotionally, if you don't feel loved, if you've never felt like anyone cared about you, once you get in alignment with this energy, you can swing it back to the other end of the pendulum. ZaZaAli.com is my website. You guys go sign up for the group coaching session this Saturday, and I'll see you then. Peace and love.